All right, so get this, OpenAI, they just did this Reddit AMA, and it sounds like things are getting pretty interesting.
Interesting. How so?
Well, it seems like the AI landscape, it might be about to get a lot more interesting.
Mm.
They're facing some pretty serious competition.
Oh, yeah. From where?
Yeah, and potentially from companies using their own tech against them.
Oh, wow.
Plus, get this, they might actually start open sourcing some of their work.
Really?
What is going on over at OpenAI?
Oh, it definitely sounds like they're feeling the pressure.
Yeah.
Especially from this company, DeepSeek.
DeepSeek.
Yeah. And what's really fascinating is that DeepSeek, they might actually be using some of OpenAI's own technology
What?
to build their own competing models.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah.
So they're being, like, out-innovated by their own creations?
Yeah, basically.
That's got to sting a little.
I imagine it does. Even Sam Altman, OpenAI CEO,
Okay.
he admitted that DeepSeek has been chipping away at their lead. He said, and I quote, "We will produce better models going forward, but we will maintain less of a lead than we did in previous years."
Wow.
For a company that's been at the forefront of AI, for so long, that's a pretty big statement.
Yeah, that's not something you hear every day from a company like OpenAI.
Right.
Makes you wonder, what does this mean for their future? Are they going to, like, change their whole approach?
Well, that's where things get even more interesting.
Okay.
They hinted that they might be potentially open sourcing some of their older models. The ones that aren't quite cutting edge anymore.
Hold on, OpenAI going open source.
Yeah,
That's a huge shift for them. I mean, they've always been super secretive about their work.
exactly. It's a big change.
Like what?
Kevin Weil, their chief products officer,
Oh, okay.
he said they're definitely considering it. He even said, "We'll definitely think about doing more of this."
Wow, so it's definitely on their radar.
Yeah. I wonder what's driving this sudden shift. Is it just purely a response to competition, or is there something bigger at play? I think it's probably a combination of factors.
Yeah.
On one hand, yeah, they're facing more competition than ever before,
Mm.
not just from DeepSeek, but from other players in the field as well.
Right.
But on the other hand, open sourcing could be a way for them to stay relevant and influential,
Okay.
even as the AI landscape, becomes more crowded.
So instead of trying to keep everything locked down,
Yeah.
they're thinking about sharing some of their knowledge with the world.
Precisely.
Huh.
It's a strategic move that could have huge implications for the entire AI community.
Yeah.
Think about it. If OpenAI starts open sourcing their models, it could spark this whole wave of innovation
Okay.
as developers and researchers from all over the world start building on their work.
That's a really interesting point. It's like they're choosing to be a catalyst for progress rather than a gatekeeper of their
Yeah.
own technology. But wouldn't that also make it easier for their competitors to catch up?
That's the trade-off.
Yeah.
They're going to have to weigh. Open sourcing could accelerate the overall pace of AI development, but it could also erode their competitive advantage.
Right.
I'll be fascinated to see how they navigate this new landscape.
I'm curious, though, what do you think about this potential shift? Is open sourcing the right move for OpenAI? Would it benefit the AI community as a whole?
That's a great question, and it's one that the entire AI community is going to be grappling with in the coming months and years.
Yeah.
There are valid arguments on both sides.
Right.
On one hand, open sourcing could lead to a more collaborative and innovative AI ecosystem.
Okay.
But on the other hand, it could also increase the risk of misuse or even accelerate the development of AI in ways that we're not fully prepared for.
Wow, that's a lot to consider.
Yeah.
I hadn't even thought about the potential downsides. It's almost like opening Pandora's box.
In a way, yes,
Mm.
but it's a box that's already been opened.
Mm.
AI is advancing at an incredible pace, whether we like it or not.
Right.
The question is, how do we want to shape that future? Do we want a future where AI is controlled by a few powerful companies, or do we want a future where it's a shared resource that benefits everyone?
Okay, so we've got OpenAI potentially facing an existential crisis and possibly changing their entire approach to AI development.
Yeah.
What else came out of this AMA?
Well, this is where things get a little technical. There was some discussion about the way OpenAI's models work, specifically their reasoning models,
Yeah.
and this concept of chain of thought.
Hold on, let's back up a second. What exactly are reasoning models and this whole chain of thought thing?
So a reasoning model is basically a type of AI that's designed to think through problems logically like a human would.
Okay.
And chain of thought refers to the way that these models break down a problem into smaller steps,
Mm.
making their reasoning process more transparent and easier to understand.
Okay, I'm starting to get it. So it's like these models are showing their work instead of just spitting out an answer.
Exactly.
Ah,
And this is where the comparison to DeepSeek gets interesting. Their model R1 actually reveals its entire chain of thought,
hmm.
making it very transparent. OpenAI, on the other hand, has been more hesitant to reveal how their models work.
Why is that? Wouldn't it be better if everyone could see how these AI models are arriving at their conclusions?
In theory, yes, transparency is generally a good thing,
Right?
but OpenAI has argued that revealing too much about their models could make it easier for competitors to copy their technology.
So it's a trade-off between transparency and protecting their intellectual property.
Yeah,
That's a tough one.
it is, and it's a debate that's going to continue as AI becomes more powerful and more pervasive in our lives.
So what do you think, is OpenAI being too secretive, or are they right to be cautious?
That's a great question, and it's one that doesn't have an easy answer. It's a complex issue with valid arguments on both sides.
Okay.
I think it's important to recognize the potential benefits of transparency,
Yeah.
but also the legitimate concerns that OpenAI has raised. Yeah.
Okay, so OpenAI might be open sourcing some of their older work, but they're still being pretty tight-lipped about their most advanced technology.
Right.
What else did they have to say?
Well, there was a lot of talk about the future of ChatGPT,
Okay.
their popular chatbot.
Yeah.
People are wondering if it's going to become even more expensive
Uh-oh.
as AI development costs, continue to rise.
Yeah, that's a concern I've heard from a lot of people. Access to powerful AI shouldn't be limited to those who can afford it.
I agree, and thankfully, both Altman and Weil have said that they want to make ChatGPT cheaper over time.
Really? That's surprising given the massive costs involved in developing these models?
It is, but they seem committed to making their technology accessible to as many people as possible.
Okay.
They even mentioned their Stargate project.
Okay.
Yeah, which is this massive data center that they're building to handle their growing computational needs.
Wait, Stargate, like the movie?
Maybe they're fans. But seriously, this data center is a huge investment, and it shows just how committed they are to pushing the boundaries of AI, even if it means spending a lot of money.
Okay, so they're spending a ton of money on this Stargate thing, but they still want to make ChatGPT cheaper. Something doesn't quite add up here.
Well, it's a balancing act, isn't it?
Yeah,
They need to generate revenue to fund their research and development,
right.
but they also want to make sure that their technology is accessible.
Right.
It'll be interesting to see how they manage that tension moving forward.
So it sounds like OpenAI is facing some serious challenges, but they're also making bold moves to adapt to this rapidly evolving AI landscape.
Exactly. They're walking a tightrope, trying to balance innovation, competition,
Mm-hmm.
and their responsibility to society. It's a fascinating story that's still unfolding.